The Super Bowl halftime show has boomers in shambles, as it does literally every year. The anti-snowflake generation, whenever it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show, they completely just baby out for weeks. It's usually a week or two after the Super Bowl halftime show that they complain nonstop. And it's been like this forever. It's like it's either Metallica or a country artist or Ted Nugent, which is, we'll get into that. Trust me, we'll be talking plenty about old Ted. But just know for the next week or two, you're going to see a lot of people with Confederate flag, bald eagle profile pictures, maybe the classic dude in the front seat of his truck taking a selfie with his sunglasses on. He, of course, hates selfies, but ironically, he has a handful of those selfies from the front seat of his Ford F-150. They'll be complaining about the Super Bowl halftime show and how it's not with the times and how it's all drugs and blah, 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 and weird stuff and weird Hollywood rippity rap stuff. Ironically, I think Ted Nugent has got to be the funniest person I could ever imagine complaining about Kendrick Lamar. He basically hopped on, I think it was Facebook, and said, hey, Kendrick Lamar, you suck. And I'd imagine he really doesn't like Kendrick Lamar, considering he has a song called Jailbait. Not Kendrick, Ted Nugent does. He has a song called Jailbait where he talks about sleeping with a 13-year-old. And in multiple interviews has basically just talked about his little escapades with underage girls. Yeah, I'd imagine he's not a huge fan of some of the topics discussed in, just various lines from Not Like Us. It is what it is. So poor Ted Nugent. It's a shame. We really let Ted Nugent down. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been a fan of Ted Nugent. I'm not one of those people who's like, classic rock. I only listen to moderns. It's not like I have anything against classic rock. There's a lot of classic rock that I like a lot. Ted Nugent is not one of those artists because I think he's doo-doo water. He's not good. And on top of that, but I can excuse the fact that he's not good. There's plenty of classic rock artists that I like. There's some that I don't like for their music. You know what I mean? And I can forgive like me not liking your music. Who cares if I don't like your music, especially if you're a successful artist, Ted Nugent, I don't know how successful he's doing now, but he was successful back in the day. I can excuse the fact that I don't like any of your music. What I can't excuse is the fact that you're notorious for being an adult man that sleeps with children. I don't like you. Like you are, it's crazy that you are in the Republican circle of like anti-PDF file type people, conspiracy type people, and yet you're right there. You are the problem. You are the PDF file. Which, by the way, I don't know why I thought that maybe we could have heard him say certified lover boy, certified, but then I remembered like I can't even say it in a YouTube video without getting demonetization or flagged or whatever. You have to say PDF file, which is annoying, but it is what it is. I feel like we should be able to call these people out for what they are. Child touchers. Can I say that? Probably not. Probably get demonetized for that. But Ted Nugent is a child toucher. And yet he is a part of the anti-child toucher Republican pro-Trump circle. I don't know. These people are so hilarious to me. I mean, they literally are the people they complain about. They're snowflakes. They whine and complain when the Super Bowl halftime show isn't who they want. And the kinds of people that they would want in that place are literally child touchers, like Ted Nugent. I literally saw people saying like, oh, Kid Rock should have been there. All right. Yeah, that would have been amazing, dude. Truly. Kid Rock. Jesus. Talk about get with the times, man. Holy shit. But yeah, so in regards to the halftime show, I enjoyed it. They messed up the audio. They do this every single time. I don't think I've ever seen a halftime show where the audio is like perfect all the way through. There were some parts that were better than others. Kendrick, he's running his 6 miles a day for his breath control. So he's doing what he does. I enjoyed the song selection. There weren't a lot of older songs. He did play Humble for a little bit. All the Stars was in there. Nothing from Good Kid, Mad City. Nothing from To Pimp a Butterfly. I guess I shouldn't have expected anything from To Pimp a Butterfly other than Alright, which he performed a couple years ago with Dre. But newer stuff, like a doo-wop cover of Man at the Garden. the teaser song in the GNX trailer he started off with, which had me thinking like maybe I should keep an eye on Spotify in case he randomly just drops it as like a hey, I played the Super Bowl, here's the song. Didn't happen. But it is what it is. Luther was obviously played. Not Like Us, a little bit of Euphoria, which I got super excited when I heard those horns, those synth horns for Euphoria. I was like, what? He's really gonna play Euphoria? But mainly stuff from the new album. Interestingly enough, he played Peekaboo. We knew TV Off was coming, but Peekaboo was an interesting one for me. And it came right after the Deduct One Life line by Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel Jackson was there. It was a crazy halftime show. And he played Uncle Sam. And there's this whole like underlying message of like, hey, that's too ghetto. It's too loud. You need to relax. And then Luther and like all the stars played. And he's like, finally, this is fine. This ghetto shit's not going to work. It was like, it's like some meta commentary on mainstream media and even the Super Bowl. Because you know he was probably told he couldn't do certain things. One of the things we thought he couldn't do was, bringing up Drake specifically. And he even brought that up. He was like, they like to sue. Can't play that song. They like to sue. And then he literally smiled into the camera and said, say, Drake, I hear you like him young. And he had the most devious looking smile. The crowd was singing that A minor line. It was very exciting. I know I'm very calm, but I literally, the chair that I was sitting in, as soon as he like named Drake, and I was like, they're like, the NFL hasn't thrown a fit about him doing it. They didn't immediately cut it because, I don't know, they don't want to get sued by Drake's estate or something. I dragged my seat up. Like I was so ready for him. I feel like I've been waiting ever since right before Views came. Actually, to be honest, ever since Started From the Bottom came out, and I had to watch this upper middle class Canadian talk about how he started from the bottom. I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment for years. But it is what it is. I enjoyed the halftime performance. I will be watching. I will be going to one of the stops in the GNX Stadium tour. So I might upload some videos during that period. I don't like to record live shows, really. I don't like to keep my phone out a lot. So who knows? But I'll probably get a little bit. But I will be there watching Kendrick and SZA. And the Super Bowl show made me even more excited for that because I feel like a live show, it'll be at stadiums, but live shows, they usually get the audio a little bit better. I feel that the track record, I've been to some live shows where they couldn't quite work it out, but usually when it's a tour, the sound has worked out a little better than the halftime show. I don't know what's going on with the Super Bowl halftime show and why they've consistently messed it up. Even some of the greatest halftime shows of all time, like the Michael Jackson halftime show, which happened before I was even alive. But I've watched it. Great halftime show, but there's many times where I'm like, man, I wish they could figure out how to make it sound better. Because obviously Michael Jackson sounded amazing. But yeah, be prepared for the boomers and the whining. They'll do what they do. They'll complain about Hollywood rap, hippity hop, how it's terrible for the youth. And then they'll say things like Ted Nugent should have played, who is a literal predator to the youth. But it is what it is.